Hello everyone, and welcome back to The Broken Past. We're going to try something a little bit different again today with a new series that I'd like to call Tech Quick Tips. A lot of my videos prior to this point have been pretty long with some detailed explanations and processes on doing things like macro conversions, shell swaps, that kind of thing. Today we're going to try something a little bit different with a much shorter video that hopefully will solve a problem that many of you might have run into prior to this point. Today we're going to take a look at an issue that's plagued many of these older Game Boy Advances, and that is the power switch getting corroded and kind of acting a little bit flaky after extended use. So this is the one that we're actually going to work on today, but before we get to this one, I'm going to go back to this guy, which is the one that I've already fixed prior to this point. And we can see on this guy with the power switch here, if I turn it on, it comes right on. It's kind of hard to see because it doesn't have any, a decent backlight on this one, but it comes on, turns off, back and forth with no issues whatsoever. So this is good. This is the end result that we want our Game Boy Advance to do. But this is one that I've already fixed. So if I take the batteries out of this one, and put them into this one here that I haven't fixed yet, we'll see a little bit different result. So in this one, if I turn it on, I get nothing. No power, no indicator, no LED, nothing on the display. Turn it back off, back on, same thing, same issue. But if I very carefully turn it on, you might have seen a real quick red flash in there. And let's see if we can actually get it to turn on. There we go. So this one turned on, but as we can tell, it's super flaky, and of course I just bumped it and it shut off again. So this is what we're going to fix today. And the fix for this is actually a pretty easy fix. It seems scary at first, but once you've done it, you realize it's really not too bad at all. And that is simply desoldering the grounding shield on the power switch and cleaning off the little connector inside of there. So it's pretty easy to do, and I'll walk you through the process, and hopefully we'll make this one, as well as giving you the ability to fix yours and make it as good as new. So to begin with, as usual with these, is simply remove our existing batteries and then remove the shell. And then from here we take out the shoulder buttons and the side pieces. And our last two screws in here. And before we flip it over, we'll take the tabs and lift them up for the screen. Be careful not to accidentally stab the screen or the ribbon cable in the process. It simply slides out. So we'll move the rest of it out of the way. And we're going to turn our attention to our power switch here. So now if we zoom in really close here, let's make sure I get hopefully this in position. We can see our power switch. Now the power switch is pretty simple in how it works. We've got our plastic switch here, which, keep my fingers out of the way, that moves back and forth. And in doing so, there are two metal tabs underneath of it that will slide across either power or off. And what happens is over time, they get corroded or they get dust and dirt and stuff in there, and it makes it much harder to make contact. So the easy thing at this point is we're going to take our soldering iron and desolder both tabs here and pull this plate off. And once we do that, this switch will come out and we can clean the inside of it. So let the soldering iron heat up for a moment. The one thing we need to make sure of when we do this is that when we're desoldering these tabs, that we provide a little bit of pressure onto the shell to make sure we can lift it up and get it all out of the way before the solder re-hardens. We can use things like an X-Acto knife and slide it in there. We can also use our tweezers and try to do it. Ultimately, it's just a little bit of back and forth to what we can do to get that lifted. And see if I can do this as well as keeping it on camera. So in this case, I just stuck an X-Acto knife in there to provide a little bit of pressure to help try to lift it up here. And I'll try the other side. And after you get one side, then work your way over to the other. Depending on your soldering iron, it might be easier to put some solder on the tabs first to allow the heat to transfer a little bit better to get it off. So there we go. We have our shield and we have our switch as well as a connector underneath of it. Now I don't know how well this is going to show up in the video. Let's see if we can kind of show it there. Maybe it's better to show it up on this one here. We can see it's really kind of gunky and grody under there. So we are going to clean that up with some isopropyl alcohol. And we're also going to do the same to the teeny tiny switch. So hopefully we can show that in one of these if it focuses. Probably not going to focus very well at all because it's so tiny. But we see that there's two metal tabs there that are also pretty gross. So nothing that a little bit of isopropyl alcohol can't take care of for us. So we'll take our Q-tip. And do the same for our tiny switch. Being careful with the switch to make sure that we don't accidentally damage the pins that connect to the switch. And I think we'll call that good. And all that's left at this point is to reassemble. So first thing I do, and I don't know if it makes a huge difference or not, but nothing drastic, but I slightly bend both of these pegs upward just a little bit, so that way when it gets pushed down onto the switch, it'll provide a little bit more contact to it. So let's move everything back into place. Set our switch into place. And get our shield back on. And now it's as simple as reheating both of these tabs and getting it all back into place. Again, without saying, be very careful because this can get hot. Watch your fingers. If you want to, you can hold it down with something else to hold the pressure to keep the heat from getting to your fingers. And I'm going to go back to the first side once more, just to make sure that it's down all the way, because we want to make sure that we have a good solid connection on that power switch. Looks good. Obviously I have a lot more solder on the side than I started with, but that's okay. It's just gonna hold it down into place a little more. Okay, now we put it all back together. And one of the things I like to do at this point is, rather than putting all the screws back in for the back of the case and risking having to take it apart again in case it doesn't work right, I usually just throw in the bottom screw in the battery compartment just to hold it in place, and then we'll be able to test it out before putting it all back together. Occasionally it might take a few times of trying to clean the connector before it actually gets a good solid connection, so we'll hope that this works for us. And so, fingers crossed. And there we go. Perfect. So I don't have a game to put in here, but you can clearly see that it's working. There you have it. It's a pretty easy fix to do. Just a couple tabs to desolder and remove, and a little bit of isopropyl alcohol and some scrubbing, and you can fix your Game Boy Advance and make it function basically like brand new again. It might take once or twice. In the previous one, it took me, I think, just twice. The first time I didn't get it cleaned quite enough, and the contacts still weren't quite good enough. But now it works every time, and this one seems like this is working well as well. So anyway, hopefully this quick tip was helpful for you. If there's anything else you have questions on, please feel free to leave a comment down below. Let me know something else you want to see, and I will try to make it happen. So once again, thanks for watching, and I will see you next time. Take care. Bye-bye.